Hi, welcome to Fictional Narrative, where I try to film and my fussy boy won't leave me alone. Say hi, Polaris. No? Hello and welcome to Fictional Narrative. I'm Neri, and today I want to talk about my disappointments and some DNFs of 2021. Now, I know it's March. This is typically a January movie. This is typically a January video. I didn't get to it in January, but I definitely feel like I learned some important lessons in 2021 in terms of what I can stomach as a reader and what I need to let go of. So I want to talk about it today. Let's start from the very beginning. At the beginning of the year, when I was browsing through the Audible Plus catalog, I found The Maltese Falcon and Red Harvest by Dashiell Hammett, and I listened to both of them. I liked neither of them. I know that The Maltese Falcon is also a movie. I have watched the movie. I am a fan of film noir, and I am a fan of B-movies in general. I was hoping that the book was better than the movie, as is typically the case. It wasn't. In fact, the movie was better than the book, and I don't like either of them, so that was a disappointment. Then there was The Big Four by Agatha Christie. It is not worth your time, it is not worth my time, it is not worth any kind of time. So a surprising addition to this list is Mexican Gothic, and it was surprising because it's supposed to be like Gothic horror. It kind of gave me neither, and I didn't like the main character. She was sent there to help her cousin. She kind of just forgets her cousin as she gets caught up in this. There is no character development. Everybody's just drugged basically all the time. One of the books that I actually DNF'd like quite quickly was The Rogue of Fifth Avenue. It's basically a story about a rags to riches lawyer who tails the daughter of one of his clients to keep her out of trouble. Neither of these characters are interesting. I'm gonna insert a review I found on Goodreads for this book because it sums up exactly how I feel, just not alpha enough. Okay, now we're really truly getting into the meat of this. If you have not watched my review of Anna K, which was a very hard video to make, and quite honestly, I was worried when I made it, and so I wanted to be able to point out, like, there are certain things about the writing and about the plot and the characters, etc., and the setting that don't quite work. But ultimately, I was grossed out by one thing. I was also grossed out by that thing in the Queens Gambit. But the Queen's Gambit is like way worse, and I just DNF'd it the minute I heard and I understood what was going on. I feel like in print, when it comes to books, published books, etc., authors do get away with writing minors in explicitly sexual situations. And it's not to say that these things don't happen in real life, but the author is the one who controls the details that they put into the book. And I just don't think that it is necessary. And I think we should have this conversation as a book community and actually come to some kind of consensus on it. Like, are we really like okay with it? Like, I know Stephen King had his, I didn't read it, but I read an article that talked about how they got out of the sewer, which is gross. Yeah, unsettling. We tell authors all the time, honestly, show, don't tell. This would be one of those situations where, you can tell and don't show. I find it really gross. I'm not saying that these situations don't happen, I'm just saying I don't need to read it, and I don't think it's fair to give any kind of pass simply because it's a fictional child we're talking about. And I'm also saying this as someone who does listen to a lot of true crime cases. I don't even like hearing about explicit details when it comes to minors in those cases. So of course I wasn't going to stomach it in a book, regardless of the fact that the situation in Anna Kay and the situation in Queen's Gambit are like two very opposite sides of the spectrum. But, you know, that's where I stand. Hey, it's Neri. I just want to be very, very clear here. I know these things happen in real life and not just on the page, but I don't think authors need to include the details of the explicit act, and there are ways to talk about these scenarios without depicting the act, and we have to give credit to the audience that they can understand nuance. But I'm glad to like figure this out about myself. And it's weird to say that. I think it's because I don't expect going into reading a book that I'm going to encounter these kinds of scenes. And what I'm working on is just immediately DNFing the thing when I encounter it, or if it's just boring. I have a great amount of guilt when it comes to DNFing any book, because then I feel like I can't even give my thoughts in review. I can't even say that it was boring, so I left it, because then someone's going to say, but you didn't get to the good part. Well, the part that I read wasn't even my cup of tea, so why should I continue, right? So that was my lesson that I learned in 2021, that basically, even with books, I have to have certain boundaries. I guess I just never thought I couldn't just hide in my cozy mysteries and pretend everything is okay. So if you made it this far, comment and tell me about what are your boundaries for reading. What could you possibly not stomach? What is a big reading turnoff for you? All right, and I'll see you next time. Bye.